Hi, everyone. It's that time of the month again to go over my entire portfolio and do this month's portfolio update. If you like investing and making money, definitely like and subscribe. I make videos like this every single month, so make sure you hit the bell so you don't miss out on any future episodes. Welcome to the Portfolio Bulletin. Let's get started. Starting off with Worthy Peer Capital here. No changes really. I did get one referral, so got $10 here in Worthy Property. Otherwise, I'm going to continue to leave this money and continue to compound. I did get some comments that Worthy Peer Capital 1 is closed for withdrawals. I have not tested that yet, but I did message them, so I want to show you exactly what they said. They said a small number of bondholders were told that they had some liquidity issues with their initial investment, and that as they go through the collection process, they will automatically redeem any outstanding Worthy Peer Capital bonds. They didn't mention anything about considered losses, but they did mention on a later message that of course this is an investment, there is some risk, but they don't foresee any losses yet. It's taking some time due to the supply chain issues affecting their borrowers, which affects us as investors and our ability to pull money out. If anybody has experience with this, definitely put it down in the comments. I'm curious to know, because I didn't have any issues withdrawing money earlier this year, and I did not get an email about any liquidity issues. Moving over to Groundfloor, this is my second smallest investment, and these are remodeling loans that are really treated as mortgages, and if they default on these loans, then Groundfloor has the opportunity to foreclose on these homes. You can see so far, I've invested $10,620, and I've invested a little over $10,000 in repayments already, and I received $672 this year for that. So far, no losses yet. You can see my breakdown is mostly C notes. I do have a couple of higher interest, higher risk loans, but not a lot. I do want to highlight that I do have a couple of notes here in default you can see here, and you can click down on it and see foreclosure proceedings are ongoing, and the borrower is working with lenders to refinance to avoid foreclosure. Take a look at another one here. You can see property is actively listed on the market. The price has been reduced to encourage interest. The tenant occupying the property has cooperated with the property's showings, meaning that this is potentially going to get sold hopefully sometime soon, and that this loan will get paid back with interest. After filtering, you can see there's actually quite a few more here. Foreclosure proceedings ongoing. So basically, they're still chasing down quite a few of these notes, but there are quite a few in default. So I'll have to keep you updated if any of these end up getting charged off or if I have any losses. So far, I don't have any, but there's certainly potential that that might happen as the real estate industry continues to go down in price at least a little bit here recently. Moving over to Fundrise, no major changes with this portfolio. I continue to add my money every single month. I do want this to be a pretty large holding, and it is at this point up to almost $64,000, and I'm about $46,000 away from their premium level. I do want to jump over here to portfolio. They did change the way that they present this, and you can see exactly how they break it down. Total value, and then the difference between the green and the gray is what I would have just based on deposits versus the amount of appreciation that I've received. And then they break it down between tech, the IPO, and then the actual real estate investment, and then income versus growth in terms of investment here. Tech is their venture capital fund. IPO obviously shares with Fundrise, and then income versus growth. This is bonds or rent versus buying the property and hoping that it appreciates over time. I do expect to see some losses in growth maybe this quarter or next quarter in terms of the kinds of properties that they own. There's a lot of single family homes in there, and the prices of those are going down almost regardless of location. So I do expect some depreciation there. But otherwise, I do like the new format here. And then if you still want to see by fund, you can go in here and look by percentage. You can see a couple of losses last quarter. We already talked about those. Check out my last Fundrise video if you want to see more about the breakdown in detail of these funds. Moving over to my retirement account, you can see my breakdown here. Cash, bonds, and stocks. When they say cash, they mean government bonds. You can see here, pretty low on the bonds. I did increase the amount of money that I'm allocating to bonds, as I'm trying to buy up bonds here more recently. I think they're cheap, and I know I've been talking about that for a while, but I still think they're cheap. It's hard to say what the actual return is here because they just started this way of tracking these just a few months ago. I think it was in June or July, so not a great time. But you can see here down just a little bit in my bond fund, up in government bonds as always. Common stock and overall stock market were both good here recently. You can see their fund returns since inception, which like I said was just a few months ago, is slightly positive now. Overall bond funds are down just a little bit. I wish they did a little bit more with dividends. I know these funds accumulate dividends and they're incorporated into the price, but they don't really show what the distributions are. That would definitely be something that I wish they did, especially with the S and the C funds. And then the bond funds, really all of them, I would like to see what kind of dividends are coming in on these funds, but they don't. They just give overall returns. And maybe one day when I transfer this money into a different account, I'll be able to give a better perspective on that. Moving over to my higher yield savings here with M1 Finance. I really haven't done much with this portfolio. Looking at the monthly view, I've actually gained quite a bit of money. The markets have been up over the last month. You can see almost $1,500 in gains and then about $10 in dividends. And I've only deposited about $29. So almost all market gains over the past month. You can see every single fund was up quite a bit. Individual stocks doing well at almost 9%. Vanguard Growth, which is basically the NASDAQ, at almost 10%. IDV had a huge bounce, almost 17%. Which is pretty crazy. And then you can see the rest of the funds here did pretty well. Vanguard Dividend did well. Vanguard True Value, and even real estate did fairly well, up more than 6.5% this month. Otherwise, not much to update here, just continuing to hold this. This is kind of the last line of defense if I have some emergency spending that I really need, but I have no intention of withdrawing this money anytime soon. And lastly, here we do have my trading accounts, up to almost 94,000 cumulatively, just under 25,000 in my IRA. Can't wait to start contributing to that again on the first of the year. And then we have my individual account almost at 70,000, doing pretty well. Of course, the markets were up, so it's pretty easy to do when the markets are doing well. But this is becoming a bigger and bigger portion of my investing portfolio. If you want to know more about my trading methods, definitely check out my daily videos that I do during the week, where I lay out my thoughts on the charts as well as my individual trades. Moving over to my monthly tracker, here you can see still doing pretty well. Stocks and trading accounts are actually moving in tandem at this point. Trading was up a little higher last month, and basically they're at the exact same point now. Usually when stocks go basically straight up, my buy and hold portfolio will tend to do a little bit better. My trading account was still up a little bit over 3% this month, which is good, but stocks really rallied, up almost 8% here. But it's still worth noting that I did sell a lot of stocks going from the 2nd of January to the 30th of January, all the way to April. And then I really stopped selling here in May. And then since then, stocks and trading have been basically in the same area. Real estate still doing well. And then bonds starting to tick up here. I have been buying a little bit more bonds and I want to continue to do so. I think they're a little bit undervalued and it's also a pretty small portfolio in terms of my overall portfolio. I do also want to highlight this is a new high for me, 278,000. The previous high was on 2 January at 274,000. So just barely broke that, couple thousand higher than before. And I do want to highlight here the buy percentage of my portfolio. I just added this and it's interesting to see trading and stocks basically right at 34% each. Real estate at 23%. My goal for that is actually 25%, so it's a little bit under, but not bad. And then bonds here at 6%. That is a little too low in my opinion. So I would like to get bonds a little bit higher. I think that's the most undervalued portion here. Lending Club will eventually go away. That's at 1% now. And then cash, about 2% is probably going to be the standard. This is actual liquid cash that I use to pay my bills and do my normal daily life. So that's probably not going to go down. That's about where I want it to be. But really, bonds needs to be a bigger percentage, probably closer to 10, maybe 15% overall. And that would shrink my trading and stock areas a little bit. And real estate hopefully stays right about here at 23%. If you like any of these investment platforms, please use the links in the description. It really does help out the channel. Otherwise, comment down below what you think of my portfolio. Definitely like and subscribe if you got any value out of this video or if you have any questions. Of course, none of this is financial advice. This is all for entertainment purposes. Good luck in your investing and have a great day.